That phrase you use, active listener, I think I've heard really smart people talk about that, like psychologists. Could you just explain what that means, active listening?
Well, you can listen to someone even to this particular podcast now, and you're sort of picking up what it's saying, but it's a bit blah 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 blah. You might be too much of a hurry to really tune in. You're cooking dinner while you're listening to it, and you're sort of half engaged in what's going on. I think people pick up when someone else is not really interested or not really focusing in on what's being said. So active listening is having a posture and even the body language of someone. So instead of shoulders crossed and you're whatever, you're actually a relaxed person who is basically facing that person, generally speaking, and just have an open posture that says, "Hey, I'm attending to the things that you're saying." And you don't have to be sort of cute or crazy about it. It's just natural human communication where you say, "Look, I'm interested in what we're talking about, and I really am listening to what you're saying."
So it's just really listening,
Yeah,
not pretending to listen, not looking like you're listening, not thinking about what you're going to say next, but it's actually listening to the person.
that's right. And if you get good at this and you don't have to do this, sometimes you learn a skill of just asking a question back to clarify the conversation. But you can develop those skills as time goes on. It's just really caring and being attentive to what people are saying.
Hmm. And so, what about the scenario where someone is really listening, but what they are hearing is, in their opinion, crazy or heretical or sinful? Because I think that's one of the problems that Christians have. It's that they don't like listening because they don't like what they're hearing. So, what could we do in that situation?
Well, for Australian people generally, and I think millennials particularly, having a genuine dialogue is really, really important. And dialogue means that you are willing to let the other person present their case or their worldview uninterrupted and safely. And so if they see that you're someone who's safe with their story, then that opens up genuine communication. So I think one of the things that's really important is that people know that they can tell you what they really feel. And instead of immediately pushing back, you don't have to agree, but instead of immediately pushing back, you simply let them say what is on their mind. And what that creates is a trust where at an opportune time, well, you can do the same. You can talk about what's really going on for you. But there's a saying in cricket where a batsman just lets the ball go through to the keeper, and the idea is that you don't have to play at everything that comes at you. You can just let it go, and that's okay. And I think we need to develop the habit of not having to wrestle with everything that someone says or everything that they believe, but rather for the sake of establishing a relationship in which true dialogue can take place, we are willing to just let a lot go through to the keeper. And there'll be some things we can talk about when the time and the situation is right. But it's a patient journey, and it's one where you're showing acceptance and the willingness to really engage with what they're saying rather than try and defend your position or attack theirs. So that those postures are super important now.
Mm. So what you're saying is, if someone is saying something you don't necessarily agree with, whether that's, it could be to do with anything, politics or drama or art, you don't actually have to let them know your opinion, and you don't need to try and prove that you're right. You can just explore why that's important to them. You can actually just keep listening. Is that what you're saying?
That's right. And you can tease it out a little bit to generally understand where they're coming from. Is there some historical reason why they believe that? And if someone has an opinion that's a bit crazy and you know them a little bit, well, you could perhaps gently ask open questions that can get them to explore out loud, well, why do they really think that? And sometimes in people are not used to being heard.
Mm.
So sometimes and I'm a little bit like this, I process things by sometimes talking them out. And so if you're a person who's safe, you're willing to listen, sometimes when people share their own opinions out in the open, maybe for the first time, it might cause them to go, well, do I really?
Mhm,
Do I
mhm.
really think that? So surprising things can happen in genuinely open conversations.
Yeah, so it sounds like then you're saying as well, questions are really important in conversation as well.
I think so. And that's what makes conversations work, really, back and forward. And, if I'm genuinely interested in what someone's saying, then I'm going to be curious, and I'm going to want to explore, well, why do you think that way? What is the reason for that opinion? And again, not in an attacking way, but I am just curious as to
Mm,
someone would think like that. So I've got a Buddhist friend, and he's an Anglo-Australian, so historically wasn't the faith that he grew up with, and I'm genuinely interested as to why he chose that route when it comes to his own spiritual journey. So, and I think in my conversations with him, we have genuine talks about what we believe in a way that is not hostile, but rather quite open, and where a genuine love is communicated both ways.